Imagine being 22 years old, hopelessly in love with your boss, and your boss just happens to be the President of the United States. Now, imagine your most intimate, closely guarded secrets being betrayed by a trusted older friend and broadcast to the entire world, making you the very first victim of global internet shaming. You are about to hear the true, unfiltered story of the 1990s Clinton-Lewinsky scandal. This is not just a dry political history lesson. It is a dramatic true story of a young woman's devastating public ruin, an ultimate betrayal, and the shocking hypocrisy of the powerful men who eagerly sat in judgment of her. Our story begins in November 1995. A fierce political standoff over health insurance cuts has resulted in a 5-day federal government shutdown. With non-essential personnel furloughed and sent home, the White House was operating with a chaotic, skeleton crew, forcing unpaid junior interns into the West Wing and East Wing to take on massive responsibilities and answer the endlessly ringing phones. Monica Lewinsky, a 21-year-old unpaid intern, suddenly finds herself walking these exclusive halls. It is in this high-pressure, intimate environment that she first encounters President Bill Clinton, telling him with youthful earnestness that she had a huge crush on him. What follows is the initiation of a highly secretive, deeply intimate relationship with the most powerful man in the world. There was an immense, undeniable psychological and power imbalance at play. She was a young woman barely out of college, hopelessly infatuated, while he was the seasoned leader of the free world. Completely unaware of the political powder keg she was sitting on, Monica believed the president's promises that he would bring her back to the White House after the 1996 election. Instead, her life took a sharp, involuntary turn. In April 1996, deemed by White House staff to be displaying inappropriate and immature behavior, she was abruptly transferred to a job at the Pentagon. To Monica, this reassignment felt like a cruel exile from the man she loved. Isolated in the vast bureaucracy of the Pentagon, she met Linda Tripp. Tripp was a disgruntled, career civil servant who had previously worked in the White House during the Bush administration and as an assistant to the White House counsel. Following the tragic suicide of Deputy White House counsel Vince Foster, Tripp had been relocated to the Pentagon, a move she resented. Harboring a deep envy of the presidential access Monica once enjoyed, Tripp presented herself as a maternal confidant, while secretly nursing ambitions to write a lucrative tell-all book about the administration. Desperate for connection, Monica trusted Tripp with her deepest, most dangerous secret, her ongoing affair with the President of the United States. What Monica did not know was that her trusted friend was actively preparing an unfathomable betrayal. In the fall of 1997, encouraged by a cynical conservative literary agent named Lucianne Goldberg, Tripp began secretly taping her late-night phone conversations with Monica. Goldberg convinced Tripp that recording the distraught young woman was a necessary political insurance policy, a way to gather concrete proof of the president's indiscretions, and ultimately, a golden ticket to a blockbuster book deal. Every tear Monica shed, every intimate detail confessed, and the specific mention of an unwashed, semen-stained dark blue dress were quietly recorded. Meanwhile, a massive legal storm was brewing. Paula Jones, a former Arkansas state employee, had filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against Bill Clinton in 1994, alleging that he had propositioned her and exposed himself in a Little Rock hotel room back in 1991. Jones's legal battle was aggressively backed and funded by the Rutherford Institute, a conservative legal organization eager to damage the president. Desperate to prove a pattern of Clinton's predatory behavior with government employees, Jones's lawyers laid a specific legal trap. Armed with rumors provided by Tripp, they subpoenaed Monica Lewinsky. Terrified of the consequences and seeking to protect the president, Monica filed a sworn affidavit falsely denying any sexual relationship with him. The trap snapped shut on the 13th of January, 1998, in a ruthless FBI ambush codenamed Operation Prom Night. Tripp, now wearing a hidden wire provided by independent counsel Kenneth Starr's team, lured Monica to a food court before federal agents intercepted her and escorted her to a room at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. There, the terrified 24-year-old, was cornered by grim prosecutors, including Mike Emick, who coldly threatened her with up to 28 years in prison for perjury unless she agreed to cooperate and wear a wire to implicate the president. When a devastated Monica cried out that her life was over, Emick offered a patronizing, empty promise that they would get through it together as long as she did exactly what they demanded. They initially refused to let her call her lawyer or her mother, an agonizing 12-hour interrogation. Feeling her world collapse, Monica fiercely refused to turn on Clinton, famously demanding that the agents keep Tripp in the room, crying out, "I want that treacherous bitch to see what she has done to me." Just days later, on the 17th of January 1998, President Clinton walked directly into the conservatives' trap, giving a sworn deposition in the Paula Jones case, where he flatly and falsely denied having sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky. The secret could not be contained. Just past midnight on the 19th of January, 1998, internet gossip Matt Drudge blew the lid off the scandal on the Drudge Report, revealing that Newsweek and mainstream outlets like the Washington Post were sitting on a massive story about the president and an intern. By January 21, the mainstream media erupted, and the private life of a young woman instantly became global public property. Monica Lewinsky was thrust into an unprecedented media circus, effectively becoming patient zero of internet shaming. She was branded with horrific names, viciously mocked in late-night comedy monologues by hosts like Jay Leno, and parodied on Saturday Night Live, where actor John Goodman famously played a lumbering Linda Tripp. Isolated and terrified, Monica and her mother were trapped inside their Watergate apartment, physically besieged by swarms of paparazzi who surrounded the building. With the walls closing in, President Clinton went on national television on the 26th of January, 1998. Utilizing aggressive body language and a famously stern wagging finger, he boldly lied to the American public. "I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky." Months later, forced to testify before a grand jury, Clinton would resort to stunningly evasive semantics, infamously arguing over what the meaning of the word is to justify his earlier deceptions. However, Monica had the ultimate physical proof. The dark blue dress, which FBI DNA testing confirmed, contained the president's semen. Cornered, independent counsel Kenneth Starr submitted his massive, sexually explicit report to the House of Representatives in September 1998. The government immediately released the unedited, graphic document online. In an era of dial-up connections, the absolute frenzy of the global public desperately trying to download the Starr report doubled worldwide internet traffic overnight, literally crashing the servers of the House Judiciary Committee and stalling government networks. Armed with the salacious details of the Starr report, the House of Representatives pushed forward, and on the 19th of December, 1998, they approved 2 articles of impeachment against Bill Clinton, formally charging him with lying under oath and obstructing justice. Yet the righteous, moralistic pursuit of justice was deeply clouded by a staggering display of political hypocrisy. The very Republican men, aggressively demanding Clinton's removal for his moral failings, were harboring destructive, extramarital secrets of their own. To expose this double standard, Hustler magazine publisher Larry Flynt, $1 million cash reward for anyone who could provide dirt on the Republicans leading the impeachment crusade. The results were devastating to the GOP leadership. Newt Gingrich, the Speaker of the House and leader of the Republican Revolution, who loudly condemned Clinton's morality, was forced to admit he was having a simultaneous, long-term affair with a young congressional staffer named Callista Bisek. Even more shockingly, Gingrich was carrying on this affair while his second wife had recently been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Bob Livingston, the Speaker-elect chosen to replace Gingrich, was spectacularly flinted. On the very floor of the House during the final impeachment debates, Livingston dramatically challenged Clinton to resign, only to stunningly announce in the same breath that he had to vacate his own seat because Flint was about to expose his multiple extramarital affairs. Henry Hyde, the Republican chair of the House Judiciary Committee, and the lead house manager prosecuting the president's infidelities was exposed for having his own multi-year affair. Despite being 41 years old and married at the time of his affair, Hyde dismissively brushed off his actions as a mere youthful indiscretion. Even prominent Republican representatives like Dan Burton, who declared no one should get away with sexual improprieties, and Bob Barr were forced to admit to their own infidelities, with Burton admitting he had fathered a child out of wedlock. Despite the spectacular collapse of the moral high ground, the 1,999 Senate trial proceeded. The atmosphere in the chamber was intensely polarized, but on the 12th of February 1999, the trial reached its climax. The Senate acquitted President Clinton on both charges, failing to reach the two-thirds majority required for removal. The perjury charge failed with 45 guilty votes, while the obstruction charge split evenly at 50-50. Clinton felt exact political relief, surviving the greatest threat to his presidency, though his legacy was forever tarnished. When the dust settled, the president kept his job, and the hypocritical politicians largely kept their power. But for the women involved, their lives were irrevocably shattered. Monica Lewinsky, a young woman who made a terrible, consensual mistake in her early 20s, was forced to bear the crushing weight of global humiliation. As the patient zero of internet shaming, the psychological toll of her public ruin was nearly fatal, stripping her of her dignity and reducing her humanity to a punchline. This was a scandal ostensibly about sex, but beneath the surface, it was a terrifying story about power, betrayal, and the ruthless destruction of a reputation. What would you do if your biggest, most intimate mistake was broadcast to the entire world? How do you rebuild your life and your soul when your very face and name become synonymous with scandal? Share your thoughts, your feelings, and your own experiences with facing unfair judgment in the comments below.